The Sean Diddy Combs trial is well underway, and there are all sorts of things that were revealed that Diddy never wanted anyone to know. There are also a few key moments that stand out as the basis for the Fed's case against him, with the courtroom sketches providing the comic relief.
These courtroom sketches of Diddy got people like,
We don't even know what it is. We don't even know what it is.
On day one, jury selection was finally complete with the 12 jurors of 8 men and 4 women, with 6 alternates of 4 men and 2 women, all ranging in age from 24 to 74, with occupations like accountants, deli workers, social workers, scientists, architects, massage therapists, bankers, actors, Department of Corrections workers, and retirees. The main jury panel consists of 4 non-melanated, 2 Hispanics, 5 melanated, and 1 Asian member, and for the 6 alternates, 4 non-melanated and 2 melanated members. The feds laid out their case in an opening statement, with the prosecutor pointing directly at Diddy and identifying him as the man responsible for snatchings, intimate violations, hurling menacing words at people and Molotovs at cars, and throwing hands and feet to promote ST and bedroom work for personal gain. They also prepared the jury for the level of baseness that they were going to be hearing by revealing for the first time that part of the FOs was bodily fluid play, where a complete stranger, an exotic dancer found on the likes of Craigslist and Backpage, was told to relieve his bladder in Cassie's mouth. The defense then tried to present Diddy as a successful, complicated, and deeply flawed man who was not shying away from his bad actions, but they amounted to domestic issues and not the RICO that the feds were trying him for. The feds then called their first witness, Israel Flores, who was the security guard from the infamous Intercontinental Hotel incident, who now works with LAPD. He authenticated the hallway incident that leaked to the public last May while they played the uncut full 15-minute version of the video. Afterwards, the feds called a male escort, Daniel Phillips, who participated in several FOs with Diddy and Cassie, and he detailed how Cassie would be talking in another room with Diddy and then later come to him and tell him to urinate in her mouth or on her, and how Diddy would sit in the corner and handle himself while watching them perform. He was also witness to Diddy putting hands on Cassie, and though he seemingly feared for her safety, he still never called anyone for her protection and kept coming back every time they called because he loved hanging with them and they were cool people. Then, on day 2, Cassie took the stand as victim number 1, and her testimony set up the ST case perfectly when she said,
"The FOs became a job. There was no time to do anything else but do them, then try to recover. There were hundreds of FOs."
which brought to the forefront that while she was under contract with Diddy for her music career, it soon turned into another job entirely, leaving her unable to fulfill the original terms of a 10-album contract, as she was expected to participate in multiple FOs per week. Much like how young women are sometimes lured to places with promises of modeling contracts or headshots, only to be subjected to being victims of ST. Cassie's testimony revealed that even when she and Diddy were on a break, she would still have to participate in FOs as they were her job, as well as painting an even more graphic picture of the FOs and her role in them, and the consequences, which were various forms of dis-ease, whether they were UTIs, mouth sores, bruising, and cuts from hands and feet being put on her when she didn't perform as requested, or mental degradation.
I was expected to do FOs on my period. I got painful UTIs from the F.Os and all these sores on my tongue and still had to do FOs. No, I did not want it. It was disgusting. It was too much. I choked. No one could think I wanted it. Too much urine in my mouth. I didn't want anyone to urinate on me. It was obvious I didn't want to be on the ground being urinated on by 2 men. I wanted to stop the FOs. I was humiliated. I didn't have those words then. I couldn't talk to anyone about it. Sean put me through shame, to carry the things that were shameful for him. I took on a lot of responsibility for that I never should have. He brought the concept to me when I was 22. It was expected of me. I felt terrible.
Cassie's testimony further shed light on what seemed to be a deep jealousy that Cassie was able to be the object of desire to the type of man that Diddy himself seemingly wanted to attract, as proven not only by Diddy's desire to pick the various men that Cassie had to perform with, but also by Cassie's testimony of what Diddy requested her to do after her performances with these strange men were over.
When the escort finished, Sean would want it put on his body in the next room, usually on his nipples.
The jury was left with a clear realization that however much the defense tried to paint this as a loving, passionate relationship, there was no way that Diddy's treatment of Cassie proved anything besides his contempt for her, as he requested she perform the most intimate acts with several different strangers without any form of protection from painful and possibly incurable consequences, while alternately berating her emotionally and physically. His treatment did not bear the slightest resemblance to love, a fact which even had the defense perplexed during cross.
Diddy's own lawyers basically asking Cassie how the hell she fell in love with him is giving.
How, Sway?
But despite the defense's attempt to prove that Cassie's questionable choices made for whatever reasons landed her in this situation that, while horrible, was still just a domestic issue between lovers, they could not dispel the simple fact that love didn't live there. Because love would have had Diddy treating her like a human being, regardless of the treatment she was willing to accept. And when the concept of love is taken off the table, the domestic argument flies straight out the door, and all they were left with was a man who used his employee in various different states for illegal activities for his own personal gain. After Cassie's 4-day testimony concluded, the prosecution called 2 more witnesses on the final day of week 1. The first was Homeland Security agent Yasin Benda, whose testimony detailed what was found when the feds arrested Diddy back in September 2024, which proved that Diddy obviously can't stop and won't stop, because despite knowing that he was planning to turn himself in for criminal activities related to FOs, it seemed that Diddy's room had evidence that implied he was ready to continue his FOs even as he awaited trial. With $9,000 cash, pink powder along with other substances, female accessories, and bottles of baby oil. And while the feds provided photographic records of the evidence, they also provided tangible exhibits for the jury to hold for examination.
When the feds hand the jury the FO evidence they found when they scooped up Diddy.
Get that nasty out of my face!
Don Richard, former Danity Kane and Diddy Dirty Money member, was the final witness on day 5, and after being asked to physically point out a Diddy whose appearance was so entirely different from what his past public image had been, Diddy helped her out by raising both hands to help her identify him.
When the people who were so in awe of Diddy see the real man behind the mask after he's been in jail for 8 months.
Oh my God, what is that? Oh my God, what is that?
Don then reiterated Diddy's vile physical treatment of Cassie that had the defense moving to quash her entire testimony, which was ultimately shut down by the judge as a day late and $1 short. And the end of week 1 had Diddy staring down his defense team like he finally realized that in addition to himself, they were his ops.
Diddy looking at his lawyers like he just realized they're his ops is giving.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Remember to like and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.